Hello, hello. How are you? How are we going? This is your host, Joey D, and I have a guest. His name is. Go ahead.
It's Kenneth Lord. How are you, Yovi? Great to be here.
How are you, Kenneth? Go ahead. Okay, so let's recap a little bit. We already had a one show, and it has been quietly reviewed and listened upon. And this is a little series that Kenneth and I are kind of putting together, but he is the expert, the leader. So I'm going to just toss it back to him and explain to everybody who are you and why we are here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That's very kind. So today, essentially what we're doing is we're wanting to share with people to help them during these changing times. And so our topic is the art of social change and the art of social impact. We want to be able to give you some really clear ideas and ways to not only just get through this period of time, but also thrive. And what we thought would be ideal is to share with you some tips and specific strategies so that you could really grow internally and also build something that you want to build. And so I want to just kind of go through some of those steps and strategies with you that I went through years ago. I've been doing personal development for about 3 decades, and one of the things that happened to me back in 2016, in November, I had several clients that they were all lined up to pay me $3,900. And this was just before Christmas. And all of them, there's about 7 or 8 of them, all of them canceled. And in our profession, when you're going into the holiday season, people tend to want to focus on what's going to happen in the new year and not really spend money during the holidays. And so it really devastated, all the different plans that I had, right?
Well, that's the biggest challenge when you think about being obviously an entrepreneur and being on your own. But obviously there's other factors that took place at that time. I just wanted to also highlight that this is the second time that Kenneth is coming to the Joey D show. There's already another first episode that he literally talked about the changes itself. And now this show is, like he said, is about the changes. How can they impact us right now? So he's using himself as an example.
Yes.
Now, we're going to go more into details because this is a series, kiddos. This is a series of the steps of the art of social change. So if you didn't listen to the first episode with Kenneth Lord, I really advise you to listen to it and then come back to this episode when you have a chance immediately so you can understand, the steps that we're going through in order to explain you how can your hopefully your life can improve your way of thinking or perceiving the changes that are occurring right now.
Yes. So many amazing things.
Exactly. So we're going to be back quickly after this break. Hello, my kiddos. This is your friend, former media corporate Joey D. And the following is a sponsor ad. Anchor. Anchor is the app where you can create your podcast for free. And you can do amazing things with it. It has creation tools that allow you to record, edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you needed to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app and go to Anchor FM to get started. I cannot wait to hear your podcast. Bye.
Yovi?
Yes, hi, LaShawn. How are you?
Very well. How are you? All
right. How are you? Are you ready?
All right, quiet on the set. I'm ready.
We going in 3, 2, 1.
Hey there, Yovi D. It's Craig here from The Whistler. Just want to say hello.
Yovi,
I thank you so much for trusting me and for having so much passion.
Jovi D, what is good, girl? I just want to thank you so much for the shout out, no doubt. I appreciate you because you great.
Hey, Yovi D. Thank you so much for stopping by and giving us some love. That was awesome.
On which one? Shame or please don't date me?
Please don't take me. I'm curious.
Oh my goodness. I chose
Positive vibes here. Congratulations with everything that you're doing. Just keep doing your thing. Keep being you. I love it.
It's mind-boggling in a sense because, yeah, that's just the power of technology.
Psst. Looking to invest in your podcast for free? YoviD has a free 15-minute one-on-one podcast course to help you design, produce, and kick off your very own podcast. YoviD is a corporate media consultant and a former TV broadcast executive that hosts her own shows. She helps people just like you become the masters of their own business adventures. YoviD can help you get started and help you to the finish line. Take control of your media empire now. Go to Instagram at YOVY_D and slide into her DMs. Yes, I said it. Let's get your business, branding, and podcast out into the world. You have something to say. Let YoviD help you say it.
Hello, and we're back. This is your host, Joey D, and I have a friend that he's back again, and his name
Kenneth
is...
Lord.
Take it away. All right, Kenneth, you got the mic.
I appreciate it.
So we're going to talk about, well, you were saying about the experience. Now you're going to get to the nitty gritty of not only the changes that takes upon when it happens, the impact.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, talk
so
about it.
What happened back then, all of these things started happening for me in a way where they just kind of crashed. And, I had to really reflect. My way of doing things is I reflect within. And to me, that's what I recommend that happens for you. The very first thing, I knew there was a reason why so many people actually canceled in my life. And the reason why this story is so important is because what's going on right now is that we're in this cocoon, in my opinion, we're in this place in which we go within to kind of reconfigure, retransfigurate, and understand who we are, what our true intentions are in the world. And then as we realize what that is and get crystal clear about it, we propel out of this like a butterfly. And that to me is where we're at right now. We went from a caterpillar, we're in this cocoon, in this transfiguration place, and then we get clear about who we are, what our true intentions are, what we truly want, not just in the past having to do something because we needed money or some other reason, but truly now it's time to do who we are. And so what happened back then for me was the same type of thing, where I went within to know what the answer was. And the interesting part about it is back then I was doing high-level consulting and coaching and training and so forth. And what was interesting about me when I went in, it became something totally new and different than I would have ever expected. You'll be surprised. And guess what it is? I created a credit repair business. Had nothing to do with what I was actually doing, right?
Right. So, let's put this in perspective. Right now, like we said, what is it? We're May right now, mid-May. And the situation with COVID-19 started like almost mid-March. And then all of us were set to shelter in, stay home. And this was a situation really out of our own even control. And then it's like you said, we were placed in a cocoon, like we were like put into a cave without notice. And then the process, so we went through phases, like, the phases of, for example, when, anger, and then, you get like sad, and then you reconcile, and, you go through those stages.
Absolutely.
And then you come through to acceptance. We are already in the acceptance stage of this is what's going to be the new normal. Is that how it goes? The impact?
No, I agree with you. And I think that I think we're still in that cocoon area. We're kind of on that cusp. So in my opinion, we have from now until the end of June. I see this kind of time frame where we have it through the end of June, where we're in this place where we can identify, and then from that point, it's gonna be clearer, much clearer at that point afterwards. That's just my insight, my opinion.
Like at the beginning, I would say at the beginning, I will use myself as an example. At the beginning of the quarantine, from maybe I'm speaking about maybe several people, I was like out and about, you always on the go, like, and then suddenly you were really asked to stop. You're like, stop. And it felt weird. I will find any reason to kind of do something. But then as human beings, I saw it like, this is a vacation phase. Okay, let me do all the fun things that I usually don't have time for. And then after a while, it's like, then that got a little bit nice, but then a little bit, slow and boring. And then I'm like, then I got overwhelmed with Zoom meetings, happy hour meetings, or whatever kind of meeting, and friends, which was great. I got in touch with people that I hadn't spoken in a while. But then that also got kind of, I want to say boring. That I cannot find any other word, or seldom. And then you get to the stage that's like, okay, now what? I'm going to start. I'm now at the stage of, okay, let me challenge myself. Let me learn, or let me create a new routine.
Absolutely. And that's where, I believe that's where we're at right now. And that's where I see this next few weeks we have to really clarify, crystallize, create a structure around, and understand what that capacity is. And that's really what I was going to mention, is there's an emotional component to it, right? When all these things start happening, and you did an excellent job at demonstrating that, there's an emotional component, and those emotional components are different for everyone. And so through that emotional dynamic, once you become crystal clear and you have a specific action step or plan, then you can move quickly with it. But until you have that, you need to really contemplate and consider things. And here's a few strategies to be able to do that. When I'm looking at anything and everything in life, what I do is I identify what it is that I want first, right? I go within, and then I begin to map out the course to achieve it. And so how I would suggest it is make it simple to receive cash now. That's very important. Why? Because there's a period of time in which we can emotionally, that we have an emotional bandwidth. In my opinion, it's 90 days. So what I look at is I say, if I have a dollar amount in my mind, I say, and I'm using that definitively so that there's an outcome aligned. And the way I look at it is it has to be done in the shortest amount of time with the fewest number of steps and have the greatest impact. So that's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at what is my ultimate goal? What is it that who I am, and what is that bigger picture? And then I reverse engineer that, and I say to myself, fewest number of steps to achieve that goal. I only want 2 or 3 steps. That's all you need. And what's the shortest amount of time that I can achieve that and have the greatest result and impact? And that comes with just going within and identifying and contemplating.
Okay, then I ask you a question. When we say going within, that means also that not only is the reflection, I would also say that you go through some pain, and do you feel like in that moment, it's a downtime. It's just like you reflect back on what already happened, on what brought you to this space, and then what is going to take me out of this space to go to another level. Sadness, pain, depression, you feel kind of gloomy. All of those feelings do come over.
I actually don't focus on those types of things. Actually, I don't focus on anything in the past. As a matter of fact, how I look at it is I'm only going to focus on my strengths. So when I'm reflecting within, my intention is to get out of my own way. Because if I simply say, what is it that I truly want? And for me, I pray and I get clear and I'm conscious and become aware. And so for me, it's just having no one in my space, just being reflective and pondering. I could spend a few hours pondering.
So you never question when all your clients just suddenly poof, they just went away, they just were gone, no explanations at that moment, no reaction whatsoever?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, and the reason is, and I know this maybe sounds strange, but the reason is because I understood and I understand that there was a reason for it. So I didn't need to I didn't need to attach anything to it because I knew there was a reason, a bigger reason why that occurred. That's just my perspective.
So you didn't call them back or
Nope,
say, hey,
nope,
you know.
not at all. Not at all. No, there was no reason to. Again, it's really about if we have an understanding that there's a reason. I mean, that was a major scenario. I mean, with that many people.
Yeah, because it's not only one. Exactly. You had several people that just
if
back
just
out.
a few of them, at first I was thinking after a few of them, I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. But then this started to trickle and I'm like, wait a minute, there's absolutely a reason for this to happen. Okay. It's not just because. And so because of that, my intention went directly to understanding. What was it that I needed to understand or see or learn or perceive that that I was missing, and or what was the next congruency of who I am, because it's all about who we are. And so that's when, and I kind of had a couple of insights, a month or so before about credit repair as an example, not as a business, but just, hey, I need to do something with my credit kind of thing. Not even thinking it was a business. And then all of a sudden, I just knew, and I just immediately went directly into building websites, learning, becoming an expert and authority in the industry. And within just a month or two, I spent all of November, December, and January starting to build out my business and so forth, because I knew that was it. And you become laser focused on it, right? And then it just continued to build and build. Now we do, we have hundreds of clients and built it out to other types of things. So, that's to me how, if we keep our focus on what it is, our strengths, then our strengths are going to lead us directly to where we need to be.
So you're saying to stay still, focus on what's happening now, and then from there, move on.
And let go of all the other things. Because it's not about other things or other people, actually. It's just about ourselves. It's never about other people, actually.
So, so basically, if a deal doesn't go through, you let it go.
The way I see something from the standpoint of a deal or some other situation, or there's a lack of communication, I never blame anyone else. I reflect upon how I could have, what was it that I needed to say better? What is it that I need to do and be? I go within to that clarity point, because I know that it's, when it's all aligned, it all comes together naturally, like feng shui, it's just like harmony. And so if it's not because of me, it's not because of the other person, it just is.
It is in the present, in the now, and then
absolutely.
Move on. Okay.
I don't even look at it as moving on. I just look at it as keep your focus.
Keep your focus. Okay, then that's, definitely.
Yeah, so the impact point that's going on right now that we could learn from is to be crystal clear and focus, and don't let the distraction, because what occurs is the opposing force, I call it, the distractions, try to keep you in your old patterns, keep you in your old ways. And we need to be clear and keep focused on who we are and what our true intentions are. That's how we get through all this, because there's so much going on right now and so many unpredictable components to it.
There's so much going on, and there's a lot of distractions. Yes.
And the only way is to focus from within and just be crystal clear. And don't, like for me, when I'm looking at something and I might have 20 things going on that day, I have to get done that day. The way I look at my day is I block out time, I prioritize, and there might be just one or two things that I'm prioritizing. And my priority is focusing on generating income. And I know that may sound weird, but the reason is because I believe that within the income creates, within me focusing on the income, the systems can be put in place for regenerative, sustainable business practices. Does that make sense?
Right. And that's obviously the underlining title of, about this topic, creating sustainability.
How to create sustainably successful ways in your life and in your business and so on. Absolutely.
All right. You know what? Well, we're going to be back in a little break and we'll be back. Hello. The following is an ad. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is the one-stop shop for recording, hosting, distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free, kiddos, free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. So what are you waiting for? So if you always wanted to start a podcast, make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast.
Hello, you are listening to the YoVD Show. This is T. Drake from God's Gift Through His Word, and I'm coming over to talk about the SoCal Podcast Explosion 2021. We will be having and postponing the SoCal Podcast Explosion 2020 due to what is going on with the COVID-19, but we are going to have it bigger, better, and stronger. So I hope that you will be a part of it. If you want to advertise, if you want to help, please do so. We're going to need a lot of help and a lot of hands. So don't forget, if you're interested, don't forget to contact YoVD so she can put you in contact with me. And don't forget about Pastor J, who is always our number one sponsor, and also Dr. K, who is a sponsor that will be a sponsor for 2021 as well coming up. So God bless and get ready for the SoCal Podcast Explosion 2021.
WiseFingerLab.threadless.com. Your brain refrigerator is introducing products that never go bad and inspire creative dishes to feed the body and the brain. How about you wise up and log into WiseFingerLab.threadless.com to discover your next tasty snack?
Yeah. We're here. And what
Kenneth
my
Lord.
friend. Go ahead. There you go. All right. So that was a deep, definitely breakdown that you had there. And anyways, I know that you guys like what you're listening. If you have any questions, how can we reach out to Kenneth? Take the mic.
A few ways. One of them is you can email me at kennethlord@yahoo.com. No periods or nothing like that. Just kennethlord.in. You can go to my website, kennethlord.info, or email me at kennethlord@yahoo.com. Those are a couple ways. What else?
So in one word or one sentence, how we can get the best tip of this message today?
I think
this
there's what everything that was said is really to realize what your true intentions are. And, and your intentions are going to make, this is very important to know, is that your intentions are going to make your next decision in your life. And your next decision is going to make your next decision. And so when you begin with wholesome, clear, concise intentions, you begin that momentum of building the decisions that will build your life sustainably.
Should they put this in writing, or when they reflecting upon this?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, to give you, if you would like, I can give your listeners a pretty good idea of how to create a powerful goal structure. I don't know if you want me to do that, but I can.
There you go. Well, okay, guys. So remember, the promo is JoVD or Jovi, YOVY. I'll put that everything in the description of the show. And again, there you go. So we give you, it's really nice for somebody to set it up, because sometimes like, okay, I'm sure that you guys are like, I'm thinking about something, but how do I give this life? How do I concrete this idea? So there you are. You have Kenneth. He can give you a mini session. I think your session is
30-minute clarity
right?
session. Absolutely. Happy to help create crystal clarity. Absolutely.
There you go. Listen, it takes a village to create something, and and you got to create tools. So I thank you for being here, Kenneth. And this is only part 2 of the series, so we're gonna have another breakdown. Can you give us a little tease, advancement of where we talk about the art of social change? We talk about the impact. What will be next?
Next time, I would really like to get in, help you define and clarify your vision, your purpose, your intention, your mission, and help you and to see how I built out 4 sustainably successful businesses. So you could use that to model your own vision, your own purpose, your own intentions.
Well, okay. Let's just keep it there. We'll see everybody on the next episode. Again. Take care. Bye-bye. All right. Everybody say, okay, I like the JoVD show, so where can I find you? You can find me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter, and I also am on YouTube. But stop by and say hi. And of course, we have the Anchor app where you can leave us a message. Leave me a message with your wonderful, amazing voice, because I know it is. And I'll get back to you. Ciao, kiddos.